Good morning, beauties. What's the weather report where you are? My weather report is that I'm feeling peaceful this morning. That isn't always true, right? The waves of energy are real. And as a conduit, as a vessel, just like you are, I feel the big waves a lot of the time. And thus the centering of myself by way of practice, right? By way of sometimes internalized practice of pausing, leaning back, remembering to breathe myself back down and in, making sure I'm breathing and I'm not up here in the top of my chest going, right, with the stress, with the energetic flow, whatever is flowing in, right? And then the embodying, remembering to embody, right? These practices become internalized. The more you do them with focus and with clarity and with intention, then they become you, right? They become you. You are a vessel of energy. Yeah, you are exuding energy and you're taking in energy every second. The more awake you become to that fact and to that deep understanding that your body is a portal, right? I know that word's been overused and sometimes misused, but right, it's a portal is a passageway to another place, right? Or another dimension, even, we could say. There are many versions of that word portal, but to say that you take in energy and you give energy is the simplest way of putting it. And you know that because you are an energetic, sensitive, most likely highly empathic being. So, to cultivate your own self-awareness, to center yourself on the altar of your life is perhaps the most important thing you could ever do. Now, sometimes when I say something like center yourself on the altar, become centered in the self, sometimes the concern is, I don't want to be selfish. I don't want to be perceived as selfish. It's wrong to be selfish. One should not be selfish, right? And let's just play with that here for a moment. When you hear me say, center yourself on the altar of your life, what do you feel in your body? Right? Take a moment, close your eyes, lean back, pause, and breathe very slowly. Those deep inhales through the nose. Sighing the exhale out with sound. And just keep breathing. If you can allow your eyes to be closed, if that doesn't feel comfortable, keep them open. But keep the breath slow and easy. And listen as I say to you, as I suggest to you, what if you just centered yourself on the altar of your life? Can you consider centering yourself on the altar of your life? And just feel, right? We're giving and receiving here. Again, right? We're in the void together, right? There is no void without us in it. Centering yourself on the altar of your life. Just notice what comes up in your body. in your body first, right? Yeah, the mind's going to want to jump in with all kinds of, wait, isn't an altar in a church? Blah, 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 blah. The altar of your life. When you decide that your life is holy, right? That your life and all the gestures in your life, all the movements in your life, the experiences you've had, the fires you've walked through, the difficulties, the beauties, the beginnings, the endings, that is your church, and that you in fact are the altar and always have been the altar, right? So centering yourself as the altar, on the altar of your life. Ah. And then we'll play with selfish, right? Many of us have been imprinted with that directive. Don't be selfish. Even don't be self-centered. My goodness. To be centered, number one, is beautiful, right? To be centered. That is landing in your body, landing with grace in your own experience. To know yourself, capital S. To be self-centered. I just switch it around because I find that it's helpful, right? It makes it more palatable and it's more understandable to center on the self. Now that imprint, right, that has come in, I'm sure for many of us, of don't be selfish. We can couple that up with don't be vain. Don't feel that what you're doing is really extraordinary or ordinary even, but you feel joy about it and you are passionately expressing your enthusiasm about how wonderful you feel, right? So there's been some press in and press down on that bubbling over that rises up when you feel landed in yourself, when you feel at home in yourself. When you feel at home in yourself, when you feel that you are centered on the altar of your own life and you make that an intention and a focus, your power belongs to you. To be centered in the self doesn't mean that you have ill wishes for others. When you are truly centered in yourself, you wish for all people to be centered in themselves. You wish for all people to be enthusiastically in love with themselves, because when you are in love in the sweetest way possible with yourself, when you have a committed monogamous relationship with yourself, when you are dating yourself, then that love for others flows forward like a river. You don't wish for others to feel poorly about themselves. You don't wish for others to feel bad about themselves. Centering yourself on the altar of your life creates the pause and lean back mechanism. It allows for discernment to grow. It allows for you to shift out of harsh judgment into discernment. I discern the energy in the room. I trust myself because I have centered myself on the altar of my life. And I know, right, that I am the director, actor, script writer of my life. That does not mean that you are not part of a cohort, that you are not part of co-creating with a divine principle, a creative principle that nobody has a name for. right? A mystery that I personally describe as benign, as beauty. Yeah, that's up to you to have your own relationship with that, whatever that is for you. But centering yourself on the altar of your life supports sovereignty. The more lean back and pause that you do, the more slowing your breath that you do, the more you start living in your own body. And the more you do this, the easier it becomes. It's not easy in the beginning because you're dismantling old programming. But it becomes easier to have clarity, to start to take ownership of the words that you speak, the words that you allow to come into your head, the people, places, things that you allow to enter your precious field. And I'm saying the field of the energetic of your own experience, your own body on this earth walk. And when you continue to do this and you reclaim your power, you understand and you can hear, and sometimes it's heartbreaking, right? When we really, really, really clear away the programming and we stop walking lockstep and following the rules, there can be a period of profound heartbreak and grief. And I think many of us on planet Earth right now, in this ending part of the year we call 2025, right? That's a whole different conversation about the imposition of particular calendric laws created by a pope, right? On top of the native organic law, right? The galactic laws of, right, how the moon works, how the earth is spinning, how the sun is activating, right? We once followed those patterns, and we still can, because your body is a barometer. That's why I say, what's the weather report for you? Your body is an energetic barometer, right? You do have a relationship with the moon, with the sun, with the stars. You're made of those things. So all this imposition of programs, and this is how you do it, and here's the calendar, and here's the box, and just get in it and get up and tick, 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 right? That system is, in fact, there seems to be a rumbling, as I've said the other day, a lot of rubble on the ground, and there'll be more rubble. But you centering yourself on the altar of your own life consistently by way of your own practice, which simply rises, your practices rise from your body. You don't have to buy anything. You don't have to sign up for anything. Well, you might, in a metaphoric way, sign, right, by writing your own personal manifesto of self-empowerment, of self-love, so that you can generate more love and empowerment into the field in the face of the attempt that is coming at this moment and has been to suppress that, to oppress that sovereignty that is rising up in you. Okay? So back to the breath, back to the pause, right? Press that pause button right on your wrist. Maybe write the word pause if you're feeling brave. Write the word pause on your inner wrist, maybe on your left arm. And just during the day, just pat that. Just glance down and look at it and decide to pause. to lean back, to reclaim yourself, to center yourself at the center of your altar. I love you. Big, big love. Talk soon.